Hello everybody. Here's a transition that you may not even know that you needed, but it's such a fun way to invite in creativity into your practice without doing too much. And it's cool because it gets you the mat to the back of the mat with a simple roll, one that should be fairly familiar because you integrate different aspects of your already yoga practice. And then it not only gets you to change facings, directions, it gets you on your bottom, it switches out the legs, it gets you into your hip. So it's just a really fun one. So this is what I call a bottom roll, a butt roll, and it's one that you'll see often actually if you've done any kind of dance, like jazz or modern, and I'm sure in other movement modalities you probably see something similar. But the way this is gonna happen is coming at the top of your mat. So that we're all together, let's start facing the front of our mat, and you're gonna have your right knee under and your left foot over. And this should be very familiar if you've practiced yoga at all. It's coming into our twist, right? So this is the place that we're gonna start this for now. There's so many ways to get into this transition. You can do it from standing, you can do it from crescent lunge, you can do it from this place, but ultimately we go the same, like the transition comes through this to get to then the other side. So I'm gonna show you here first, and then we'll go maybe from a different starting point. So the one thing that gets a little confusing for people is when we start this, because we're facing forward and I need to face back, when we start the roll, sometimes people go towards that way, towards the side of the mat instead of the back of the mat. So we just wanna make sure that your mat is like your lane, like, you know, you're in a car, this is your lane, and you wanna stay in your lane, right? So I'm gonna take my hands behind me, and I'll have to come in towards the twist to do that. My left leg is gonna come off of my right, it's gonna open towards the back of the mat, and you see, I'm rolling onto my bottom now. My left shin is parallel to the back of my mat now, just like I was going into like a pigeon pose. And this right foot is gonna step over. Now I could step right into a twist, or I could step to the top, which is the back of my mat, and come onto my shin, and I'm getting prepared to something else. All right, so let's do that again. Actually, let's go from the first side. So you're gonna unroll, so I just did it, right, butt roll. So we start with the twist, left foot over, right knee down. Both hands behind us. The top leg comes to the back of your mat, like you're going into a pigeon. The right foot will step over. And that's really it. So let's go backwards now. Because I need to stay in my lane, my hands are gonna come directly behind me. I'm gonna turn to face the side. The right leg uncrosses, the left leg crosses over. And then we can just keep doing that, right? You just keep switching legs. You don't have to use your hands if you don't want to, right? So just keep going back and forth. You wanna make sure that the leg goes on top, and let me actually give you a front view now. So, top lifts up and over, and the other leg comes over, right? So I initiate with the top leg, I step it off so that I have room to bring the other leg in front. Now, if I did this from a crescent lunge, right foot forward, I'm gonna tuck in, take a seat like I'm going to my twist, but rather than sitting and twisting, right, I'm just gonna sit, uncross, recross, and come into crescent. And I can repeat that. Tuck in, take a seat, uncross, my hands come behind me, recross. Yeah? So let me do it with the other leg forward so you can see the back now. So crescent, bring it in, take a seat. And the further this back knee can go to the diagonal, the easier it's gonna be to uncross and recross. So what I mean by that is if you bring this back knee straight down and sit, you might be like, wait a second, what do I do again, right? But if you take this knee to the outer edge of your foot, then you're already almost going into the twist and then into the roll, okay? And then you can do it from higher up, from like crescent or even airplane. We just tuck, sit, uncross, recross. You can come up, sit, uncross, recross. So you really can get fancy with it if you wanted to, but it's just a fun transition to take you from the front to the back and the back to the front, to get you kind of out of your comfort zone a little bit, to get you into different facing, to fire those neurons in your brain a little bit differently, and then to get you in the hips a bit and rolling around just like you would maybe when you were a kid or even now as an adult. So Let me know what you think, if you have any specific questions or comments, but I wish you well, and I hope you enjoyed this little fun transition.